Welcome to the Mighty Lion Podcast. Join us weekly as we walk together in Christ. Let's begin our broadcast.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Josh from Mighty Lion Podcast. Long time no see. Had a yard sale this weekend. Trying to raise money for our trip and whatnot. In the process of going through things throughout our house and our shed and our garage, I was able to find my original Bible that I received from these very lovely neighbors of ours that were pretty close to us when I graduated in 2010. This poor thing, it's still in relatively decent shape. Yeah. Excited to hop right back into where we work. We're going to jump back into our Genesis series, do a couple chapters out of that, talk about it a little bit. It looks like we ended on chapter 7 last time, yeah, I'm sorry for the delay in these videos. I know I do little short, quick ones all the time, but I'm sorry we haven't gotten to the meat of it. But yeah, I decided let's hop in. I know I am on my lunch and it's short period, but I need to get back into our Genesis study, and we gotta chug along, you know. But yeah, without further ado, if you don't mind, let's jump right back in. Turn to Genesis chapter 7. Here we go. Noah did everything just as God commanded him. The Lord then said to Noah, "Go into the ark, you and your whole family, because I have found you righteous in this generation. Take with you 7 of every kind of clean animal, a male and its mate, and 2 of every kind of unclean male, a male and its mate, and also 7 of every kind of bird, male and female, to keep their various kinds alive throughout the earth. 7 days from now I will send rain on the earth. 7 days from now I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature that I have made." And Noah did all that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters came on the earth, and Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives entered the ark to escape the waters of the flood. Pairs of clean and unclean animals, of birds and all creatures that move along the ground, male and female, came to Noah and entered the ark as God commanded Noah. And after the 7 days, the flood waters came on the earth. And the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 17th day of the 2nd month, on that day, all the springs of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened, and the rain fell on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. On that very day, Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, together with his wife and the wives of his 3 sons, entered the ark. They had with them every wild animal according to its kind, all livestock according to their kinds, every creature that moves along the ground according to its kind, and every bird according to its kind, everything with wings. Pairs of all creatures that have the breath of life in them came to Noah and entered the ark. The animals going in were male and female of every living thing, as God had commanded Noah. Then the Lord shut him in. For 40 days the flood kept coming on the earth, and as the waters increased, they lifted the ark high above the earth. The waters rose and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. They rose greatly on the earth, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered. The waters rose and covered the mountains to a depth of more than 20 feet. Every living thing that moved on the earth perished: birds, livestock, wild animals, all the creatures that swarm over the earth, and all mankind. Everything on dry land that had breath of life in its nostrils died. Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out, men and animals, and the creatures that move along the ground, and the birds of the air were wiped from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark. The waters filled the earth for 150 days. Sorry, give me one quick second here. Whew. Man, could you imagine the whole earth being flooded? Look at all the devastation from these smaller floods. Can you imagine like an extinction level flood of just everything up to the mountain peaks? It's crazy. But the Lord promised that he wouldn't flood the earth again. Well, we'll get there. On that kind of level, because obviously we still have floods, but not to that extreme. But it's crazy that he only found 8 righteous people to board the ark, and then the animals, to continue on their species. Like, the rest were just drowned. It's crazy. But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock that were with him in the ark, and he sent a wind over the earth, and the waters receded. Now the springs of the deep and the floodgates of the heavens had been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the sky. The water receded steadily from the earth. At the end of the 150 days, the water had gone down. And on the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. I don't know if I said that correctly. Once again, I don't know if I'm always saying things even remotely close to correctly. The waters continued to recede until the 10th month, and on the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains became visible. After 40 days, Noah opened the window he had made in the ark and sent out a raven, and it kept flying back and forth until the water had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove to see if the water had receded from the surface of the ground. But the dove could find no place to set its feet, because there was water all over the surfaces of the earth. So it returned to Noah in the ark. He reached out his hand and took the dove and brought it back to himself in the ark. He waited 7 more days and again sent out the dove from the ark. When the dove returned to him in the evening, there in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. Then Noah knew the water had receded from the earth. He waited 7 more days and sent out the dove again, but this time it did not return to him. By the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st year, the waters had dried up from the earth. Noah then removed the covering from the ark and saw the surface of the ground was dry. By the 27th day of the 2nd month, the earth was completely dry. Then God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, all the birds, animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground, so they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful and increase in the number upon it." So Noah came out, together with his sons and his wife and his sons' wives, all the animals and all the creatures that move along the ground and all the birds, everything that moves on the earth came out of the ark, one kind after another. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking some of all the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, "Never again will I curse the ground because of man, even though every inclination of his heart is evil from childhood, and never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease." Then God blessed Noah and his sons, saying to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth. The fear and dread of you will fall upon all the beasts of the earth and all the birds of the air, upon every creature that moves among the ground, and upon all the fish of the sea. They are given into your hands. Everything that lives and moves will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you everything. But you must not eat meat that has its lifeblood still in it. And for your lifeblood, I will surely demand an accounting. I will demand an accounting from every animal. And from each man, too, I will demand an accounting for the life of his fellow man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God has God made man. As for you, be fruitful and increase in number. Multiply on the earth and increase upon it. Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, I now establish my covenant with you and all your descendants after you, with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, all those that came out of the ark with you, every living creature on earth. I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be cut off by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, This is a sign of the covenant I am making between you and every living creature, with you a covenant for all generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures of every kind on the earth. So God said to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant I have established between me and all life on the earth. The sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These were the three sons of Noah, and from them came the people who were scattered over the earth. Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. When he drank some of its wine, he became drunk and lay uncovered in his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his brother's nakedness and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it across their shoulders, and they walked in backward and covered their father's nakedness. Their faces were turned the other way so they would not see their father's nakedness. When Noah woke from his wine and found out what his youngest son had done to him, he said, Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves will he be to his brothers. He also said, Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem. May Canaan be the slave of Shem. May God extend the territory of Japheth. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be his slave. And after that, the flood, Noah lived 350 years. Altogether, Noah had lived 950 years. Then he died. Wow. We'll stop there just at section 10, or chapter 10. Let me get this bookmark out. Where are you? Where are you? Chronicles. Is that the last thing I read in this book, or what? Oh. Interesting. Okay. But, so, it's crazy. They were on the ark for so long and had to repeatedly send out the dove and the raven to check to see, if the earth had been completely dried up enough yet that they could safely leave the ark. I almost said the ship. I guess it is kind of a ship, huh? But depart from the ark and, touch dry land again. And finally, the dove didn't come back. He's like, all right, guys, it was fun. See you later. And that they were going to be responsible, him and his family were going to be responsible for repopulating the planet after such a mass extinction event. Noah, why were you getting drunk, bro? I mean, we all slip up and do things that we wish we hadn't. I'm glad that his two sons were loving and caring enough to cover their father's nakedness in his state of being, being completely inebriated and passed out under the influence. Obviously that would have been something nobody else should have seen, or especially his family. So but man, he was like, this one son, he's like, may you be cursed and slaves of your brothers. Really, it's crazy. And let's not even mention the fact that Noah lived over 900 plus years old, almost to most of the way towards being almost 1,000 years old. Come on, man. Oh my goodness. Couldn't even fathom living that old nowadays, but during the Millennial Kingdom, people have prolonged lifespans, if I remember correctly from what I've read. No longer will an infant die and or a child die in infancy, and I believe it says about curse is the person who lives to be only 100 years old. It's being young, essentially. It's gonna be quite a time going back to that, especially when things drastically change lifespan wise after the fall of man and sin entering the world, and progressively it got shorter. But just blows my mind. 900 and I think 50 it said. If I just remember what we read. Let me see. I just want to double check that, but I'm pretty sure it said, 950. Imagine all the stuff you would see in that span of time. Especially being Noah, who people were thinking he was crazy and ridiculing him, and not hearing his preaching and relaying what God had told him. People are ignorant. I mean, not gonna lie, there was probably a point in my life too where I might have been among those people who were for sure not heeding his words, and we all sin and stuff, so I feel definitely would not have been on that boat. But knowing now what I know now and who I serve, I would pray to the Lord Almighty that I would be worth saving, and things are way different now with Yeshua coming and paying the price for our sins and changing how things go, that we don't have to constantly go in and sacrifice for all these different things, all these different sins, and atoning, and the fact that we don't have to do it that way anymore. It's such a big, drastic change. We don't deserve the mercy, grace, and forgiveness that we're shown. But the Lord wanted to do it anyways. He wanted to bridge the divide. He loves us and is so merciful to us. Even when we do such horrible things and we hurt him over and over again, time after time, with our iniquity and with our, sorry, I'm, just the blatant disregard for his warnings and his his word sometimes. Like, so many believers pick and choose what they want out of the Bible and say, oh, don't break these. Read this first, but then they'll go and are disregarding or breaking other verses and other, commandments and laws, or not taking heed to it. It's rather sad. We shouldn't be abandoning or disregarding anything that's written in this book.
New text message from 73,522.
I don't know if you just heard that. But yeah, it's all for our benefit. It's all for, our teaching, or the reproof, the, testing the spirits, being a Berean, and truly involving ourselves in the words of God. This is all God-inspired word. People talk all the crap that they want about it, because I believe there's 66 books in the Bible, and there's many different authors, but they were all inspired through the Lord to write this down, and even through these stories, there is so much to learn, through the parables, through the stories, through the, every piece of this Bible pertains to us in one form or another, whether that's for learning, whether that's for the commandments we should follow, for the way we should live our lives. Sorry, that probably was a trip for you guys, seeing me flip around. But it's all 100% useful and pertains to us. And and it says in the times like we're living right now, it's going to be like the times of Noah and like the times of Lot. And people will argue all the time, like, it means, being taken away. I'm pretty sure it means in judgment. Like, the people that were swept away and taken away in judgment while Noah and his family were preserved through the storm. Because it does say, where the dead are, the vultures will gather. Like, those people aren't. That doesn't sound like a pleasant place to be taken to. That's not what people think it is. So it's just crazy. I'm unfortunately out of time. I'd love to just continue to talk, but such a powerful story, and knowing how dedicated and how trusting Abraham, I am so sorry, Noah was to the Lord and following his words, and built the ark just as he was asked, gathered the animals just as he was asked, and that kind of faith, love, and respect that was shown is beautiful. So it's just, we should be like that. The Lord says, do something, jump how high, travel how far, where do you want me to go, send me. And it's funny, my we were winding down. It was a long, hard weekend, and we were winding down, and my wife let my daughter pick out a movie, and she went, like, when we were looking through the movies, she grabbed Noah, a VeggieTales movie, and I was like, again? Okay. Because we hadn't watched it that long ago. She watched it, and that's another story of, like, you know, let's not be like Jonah was when he rejected where God was wanting to send him, you know, to preach to these people who, you know, seemed like too far gone or too far lost. But you know, you can never be too far gone. Like, there are so many people that you think that aren't worth, you know, you're like, oh, nope, they're too far down the rabbit hole. It's too much of a lost cause. God doesn't think so. We shouldn't either. I know sometimes it seems troubling to try to talk to people who seem like they completely reject God, and there's no way on heaven or earth that you're gonna, you know, influence them otherwise. But you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it to try to like lead them to salvation, you know, and lead them to Yeshua and Yahweh. Like, at least you know that you put the effort in and you trusted God enough to give them a chance. I know that I struggle with that sometimes. I have some coworkers who just talk so badly about, like, beliefs and, you know, I think broadly more so religion, but, like, it's like they've got this totally wrong idea about everything, you know, and only see things from one side or from one perspective, and they don't understand everything in context, or, like, you know, what, like, believers like myself truly believe and, you know, hold on to. You know, they just base it off a general summarization of a lot of just, I don't know the right term I'm looking for here, but just people who, you know, claim faith, but, you know, just kind of like in the Bible where it says, you know, but deny the powers thereof, or like deny, you know, have a form of godliness, but it's all false for them. It's a front, it's a mask, you know, and darker things lie beneath the surface. That's not true for all of us. Some of us are very broken people that came to Yeshua and Yahweh just completely broken down and ready to submit. Like, we have a daily battle with our flesh, and sometimes it feels like it's really, really immensely hard, and we just have to overcome through Yahweh, you know, through His Word, through the Holy Spirit, through, you know. So I pray that you are all fighting the good fight, you know, planning to endure, finish the race, keep the faith, and don't give up. There's beautiful things ahead. Even through the darkest season to come, beauty lies on the other side. It's always darkest before the dawn. I love you guys. I hope you have a blessed week. Stay cool, stay hydrated, stay safe. And if you like my content, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. If not, that's okay too. But I hope you all take care. And Maranatha.